Day 91, Chapter 5 Recap, Finding Freedom in the Midst of Life. Namaste and welcome to Gita 360. As we come to the end of Chapter 5, Karma Sannyasa Yoga, let us pause for a moment before continuing our journey. Beneath all the uncertainty, struggle, and change that life brings, there is a divine presence that wishes us well. When this chapter began, Arjuna was wrestling with a question that continues to challenge people even today. If peace comes through detachment, does that mean we must step away from life? If spiritual growth is the goal, should we leave behind our responsibilities and seek something quieter, simpler, and more removed from the world? At first glance, the question seems reasonable. Many of us carry the hidden belief that peace exists somewhere outside our current circumstances. We imagine that if life were less demanding, if our responsibilities were lighter, or if the world around us were less chaotic, then perhaps we would finally feel at ease. Krishna spent this entire chapter gently challenging that belief. Again and again, he brought Arjuna back to the same insight. Freedom is not found by leaving life behind. It is found by changing the way we meet life. A person may walk away from the world and still carry restlessness, fear, frustration, and desire within them. Another may remain fully engaged in work, relationships, and responsibility while inwardly remaining free. The difference is not in the action itself. The difference lies in the state of the mind. Slowly, the chapter shifted our attention away from appearances and towards something deeper. We explored what it means to act without becoming trapped by outcomes. We reflected on the countless ways attachment quietly enters our lives, not only through possessions and achievements, but through expectations, opinions, and the need for life to unfold exactly as we want it to. Krishna repeatedly invited us to look more carefully at ourselves. We saw how ignorance clouds our perception and how easily the mind becomes caught in division, comparison, judgment, and emotional reactivity. We began to see that many of the struggles we experience are not created by the world alone, but by the way we relate to it. But the most striking shift came when the Gita turned our attention towards the chase that quietly drives so much of human life. We spend years pursuing experiences, achievements, possessions, and recognition, believing that the next thing will finally bring lasting satisfaction. Yet the mind rarely stays satisfied for long. One desire gives way to another, and the search continues. The Gita invited us to consider a different possibility. What if peace is not waiting at the end of the chase? What if it has been present beneath the noise all along? Krishna then described a person who no longer depends entirely on the outside world for happiness. Not because life has become easier, and not because every problem has disappeared. Rather, they have discovered a steadiness within themselves that is not constantly shaken by success and failure, praise and criticism, gain and loss. Perhaps this is where the chapter was leading all along, not towards withdrawal from life, but towards a different way of living it, a way of participating fully in the world without being controlled by it, a way of acting sincerely without carrying the burden of every outcome, a way of finding peace without waiting for life to become perfect. The chapter ended with a deeply comforting reminder that the divine is the friend and well-wisher of all beings. After all the discussions on self-discipline, detachment, and inner mastery, Krishna leaves Arjuna with something unexpectedly gentle. The universe is not hostile or indifferent. Beneath all the uncertainty, struggle, and change that life brings, there is a divine presence that wishes us well. It is a fitting way to end a chapter that began with confusion and gradually led us towards peace.